For a long time, our memory of history has been imprisoned in the stark black and white of silver halide film. In that color-deprived vision, people of the past seem to live in a parallel universe, distant, pale, and unreal to us. But today, through the deep learning and color reconstruction technologies of artificial intelligence, we are able to break through the ice of time. We are going to take you back to the Chicago of nearly a century ago. This is not a meticulously built retro Hollywood set, but a flesh and blood, real human world stripped of its temporal patina by AI. Welcome to the 1930s. Welcome to the Great Depression, to the Windy City. Gasping in despair, yet looking up at the starry sky amidst the ruins. In October 1929, the crash of Wall Street in New York triggered a silent tsunami that rapidly swept westward, mercilessly swallowing Chicago, the industrial behemoth of the Midwest. Just a few months prior, this place was synonymous with jazz, speakeasies, and endless wealth. But now, the Roaring Twenties have come to an abrupt halt, leaving behind a bewildering trail of debris. Through the lens of AI, we see the tearing of the city's exterior. The silhouettes of the skyscrapers stand proud and unyielding. Those Gothic spires and gorgeous Art Deco lines still point straight to the heavens. But look closely at the colors. The building facades are covered in the thick, black-gray soot of the industrial age. The once shining brass doorknobs have grown a green patina. Prosperity has not disappeared, it is merely frozen. Beneath these cold steel forests, the city's blood has ceased its joyous flow. Factory chimneys no longer billow white smoke, bank doors are tightly shut, and in their place are increasingly large numbers of aimless wanderers on the streets. This is the most classic visual symbol of the Great Depression, the breadline. But when black and white turns to color, the shock is piercing. AI has captured the colors of those overcoats, not just black, but mostly faded navy blue, worn dark brown, and washed out gray tweed. Color exposes the texture of poverty, the dullness of long, unwashed clothing, mixed with sweat and city dust. At the corner of 9th and State Street, thousands of unemployed people wait here every day for their only hot meal of the day. But history played an absurd joke here. If you could see the sponsor behind that wooden signboard clearly, you might be astonished. The one maintaining this lifeline was not the federal government, nor a charity, but Chicago's most notorious mob boss, Al Capone. In this bitter winter, when the official system was nearly paralyzed, a mob boss controlling an underground smuggling empire became a philanthropist, providing 30,000 portions of hot soup daily. In the frame, people hold steaming coffee, its dark brown color intertwining with the reflections of battered tin cups in the cold wind. They bow their heads, silently chewing on donuts. Among them, some were once respectable bank clerks, while others were highly skilled mechanics. But in the face of Capone's handouts, dignity is frozen in Chicago's -10-degree cold winds. This is the unique black humor of the Great Depression and the truest underlying reality in the face of survival. When AI magnifies these faces, grand historical narratives fade into the background, and the epic of ordinary people begins to unfold. Look at the gentleman selling apples on the street corner. In the fall of 1930, to alleviate the unemployment crisis, the International Apple Shippers Association sold surplus apples on credit to the unemployed at extremely low prices. Overnight, countless such vendors appeared on the streets of Chicago. Please note the color of the apple restored by AI. It is a striking, vibrant, deep red, amidst the boundless greyness and decay surrounding it. This touch of red seems so abrupt, yet so full of life. It is not just a 5-cent fruit. It is the last piece of driftwood for this man, who once wore tailored suits to sustain his family's livelihood. He turns up the collar of his coat to ward off the cold wind. In his eyes, there is no humble begging, only the perseverance of a laborer. Look again at those shoeshine newsboys. AI has restored their cold, chapped, purplish, red cheeks, as well as the unwashed black shoe polish under their fingernails. They should have been sitting in warm classrooms, yet at this moment they are kneeling on the freezing asphalt. The Great Depression stole their childhoods, forcing them to see the cruelty of the adult world prematurely. But in the moments they playfully scuffle with each other, those genuine smudge-covered smiles remain the most precious warmth of this city. If the Loop was Chicago's ailing torso, then these shanty towns spreading along the city's fringes were its bleeding wounds. People sarcastically named these slums Hoovervilles, after the then President Herbert Hoover. The colors here are unsettling. AI has mercilessly restored all the details of poverty. The tar paper used for waterproofing appears a lifeless black. The discarded car hoods used to build roofs are covered in mottled, orange-red rust. Even the fires burned for warmth emit a pungent, yellowish-black smoke, as they could only find scrap tires or oil-soaked rags for fuel. Thousands of homeless families eked out a miserable existence here. Amidst the ruins, African Americans and white unemployed workers lived side by side. The hardships of the Great Depression briefly erased racial boundaries, for hunger treats everyone equally. In the distance at the Union stockyards, the air was permeated with a dark red aura of blood and rotting meat. Workers were on strike, demanding even the slightest, most insignificant safeguard of their rights, in an era where merely staying alive had become an extravagance. Rust, thick smoke, and mud, these coarse colors intertwine to compose an elegy of the underclass, struggling to survive in desperate straits. The bitter winter of the Great Depression eventually melted away in the torrent of time. Roosevelt's New Deal and the industrial recovery of World War II revitalized this city. Today, when we leverage the computing power of AI to re-endow these black and white films with color, what we gain is not merely a stunning visual novelty. Color gives history a sense of pain, as well as warmth. We see the stains on that torn overcoat, so we understand the hardships of that era. We see the red, freezing hands of the apple-selling man, so we comprehend the heavy burden of staying alive. And we even more clearly see the amber streetlights that remained lit even on the coldest nights, and the silhouettes huddled together under the lights, clenching their teeth and holding on. Time flies. The streets of Chicago have long since changed their appearance, and the Great Depression has become just a chapter in history books. But these colorful moments, reawakened by AI, are like time capsules, transmitting a cross-century resonance to us today. It tells us there is no long winter that cannot be overcome. The unyielding dignity of humanity in the face of adversity, that resilience to still dare to build neon dreams amidst the ruins, no matter how many centuries pass, will forever remain like these colors, as vibrant as ever and timeless.